Again, 1-800-Star Wars. Call now. Tell them Yoda sent you.
So, did we already introduce ourselves? Should we do it again for real? Who's going to start? Peter.
Hi, I'm Peter Chan, and I'm the lead artist.
You drew that painting right there, right?
Yes, I did, yes.
Okay.
I'm Larry Ahern, lead animator.
You killed that bird.
And I think that was a Leela scene.
Oh, okay.
She's the animal killer.
I like the mustache trees in that last shot, Peter. I'm Tim Schafer, co-project leader of this lovely game.
And I am Dave Grossman, other project leader and designer and writer, along with Tim, of this lovely game.
That should have been our titles, co and other.
Co and other, yeah.
Clint Bajakian, one of the composers.
Peter McConnell, one of the composers.
Nonsense.
Nice.
Makes me feel great.
The game has begun, you guys. Okay, so we saw the lovely... What's the name of that classical music that plays during the opening voice?
Rossini, William Tell Overture. It's the quiet part of the William Tell Overture.
There's two classical pieces that mean morning in cartoons.
Yes, there's that one, and then there's... And the other one is... That's from... Where is that from?
I don't remember.
It might be Peer Gynt or something like that. That's a good guess.
It's not another place in the Rossini, is it?
No, I think it's Peer Gynt. I think.
But for that opening scene with the music, we actually got the score and sequenced the ink into the MIDI sequencer.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the big panning sequences, like wide pieces of art for the game.
Oh, the room shot? It was a double room?
Mm-hmm. And I noticed there's a poster with an L from Laverne and Shirley on that poster back there.
Here's one of our giant animation scenes.
How did you lip sync back then? Because we didn't have any tool. Nowadays we use a tool for lip syncing. Do you just by hand?
I think we just timed it out like the old-fashioned timing sheets.
Now that was for the cinematics, but for in-game, wasn't it Eric Wilmunder?
I thought it just blah 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 chattered.
I think the in-game was just on-off with audio on-off.
Yeah, there's no actual lip syncing for the majority of the game,
so
which is funny since I have gotten many compliments on the lip syncing for this game over the years.
Because it loops around, and every percentage of the time it's on, right?
Well, because I remember Eric.
Yeah, I think Eric designed some kind of an algorithm for making the lips move to the level of volume.
Yeah.
Right. If there are pauses in the audio, it stops moving the lips.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now these credits were done by Kyle Balda.
That's
You're
right.
saying entirely on his internship?
Yep.
So wait, did we not pay for these credits? Or did we pay for them?
You got paid, right?
I think so, yeah. He took time. This is Peter, the other Peter. We took time out of CalArts. He came and spent some time with us, and we gave him this intro as an internship, and he did a fabulous job.
Seems like a funny thing to do, like, hey, you're an intern, you've never done this before. Do you want to do the entire animated intro, the most...
But I remember when he did, when he finished something, he shared it with us. We were all blown away by it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
The most iconic signature piece. Can you hurry and finish that before you go back to school?
Set the entire tone for the look of our game, and...
It was excellent.
It was awesome.
I would later learn that was the perfect piece to have Kyle work on because he was colorblind, as it turns out.
I didn't know that.
I saw him working on something else, and he had other people picking his colors for him.
Oh, interesting. There was another 3D artist we had there in B Building that was colorblind too, and it was one of those things where people were just kind of, have you noticed everything he does? The reds don't make sense or whatever. I couldn't remember what it was.
Oh, the cow. I always get really happy watching these credits. I like the stretchy cow neck.
That cow should have showed up again later somewhere.
Yeah.
Missed opportunities.
What if the cow had come on their journey with them? Everything would have been so different.
Well, here's the story explanation right now for why the cow doesn't come.
Because he's just tired.
Doesn't want to make
like
the walk
I've been
up
to the
hill.
mansion before.
Now, this is the first fight I had with Peter McConnell. Do you remember this, Peter?
Yes, I was gonna.
You were gonna mention that?
If you were gonna remember it,
because the opening cutscene was too long, and we always had a problem with too long opening cutscenes, and so we were like, let's split it in half and put an interactive sequence. So there's an interactive sequence that's about to start, but I seem to remember it was the wrong time of day for you because it's nighttime outside. It started in the daytime with the mutation scene, then it became nighttime,
Right.
but then what happened? Then it turned into daytime at the end. That's what bothered you, because the music couldn't make that transition in your mind.
Yeah, I think mostly I was crabby because we had to the cutscenes and the interactivity required a bunch of programming in iMuse. And I'd finished it one way, and then you changed it to another. And so I think I came up with some sort of artistic argument that had to do with daylight like that. But
that's an important thing to learn running a project, to not change things after someone spent hours and hours making something.
Well, it was also an important thing to learn not to step way out of your bailiwick and tell the guy who's writing the scene how to write the scene.
Oh, there are bailiwicks all over the place in this game.
Aha! A secret passage. This is all too easy.
Laverne, how'd you get upstairs?
Am I upstairs? I got lost.
Seen any tentacles?
What's a tentacle?
Oh, just something I whipped up in my spare time. Made good pets, actually, until one of them tried to take over the world. Had to tie the little buggers up in the basement.
Good thing you told us that.
Yeah, Bernard wanted us to set them free.
Thank God you weren't that stupid. Did you say Bernard? Okay, you're free to go.
Thanks, Bernard.
Yes, thank you, naive human. Now I can finish taking over the world.
Wait!
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. He's incredibly evil, isn't he?
I'll try to talk him out of it.
Well, what possible harm could one insane mutant tentacle do? Leaping lab rats! Dr. Fred. What have you done this time, you meddling milquetoast? Now Purple Tentacle is free to use his evil mutant powers to take over the world and enslave all humanity! Whoops. Our only hope now is to turn off my sludge-o-magic machine and prevent the toxic mutagen from entering the river. Isn't it a little late for that, Doctor? Of course. That's why I'll have to do it. Yesterday! To the time machine!
This is all your fault, Bernard.
Behold, children, the Chronogon!
Doc, can't you just send Bernard?
No, you must all go to increase the odds that one of you will make it there alive. Have any people ever been hurt in this thing? Of course not. This is the first time I've ever tried it on people. Well, I'll be.
And then there's the porta potties, vessels.
Chronogons.
Yep.
Chronogons.
This, by the way, is an amazing full-screen animation before it was possible to do full-screen.
And not actually animated. That's all. The background's all color cycling.
It's all color cycling.
A lost art in the world of.
I forgot about that.
Now that computers work like they should, you don't have to do that stuff anymore.
You know, if you look at Mark Ferrari's website, not that Mark Ferrari worked on this game, but he was the master of color cycling, and he has a whole website where he's done it in a more high-end way. Like with higher res color cycling, he just kept perfecting that to higher and higher resolutions.
Yeah, that stuff was crazy. He was into it, and then I think Bill Eakin was the one that inherited the mantle from him when he left.
All the lava in Indy 4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, color cycling.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that was like 2-3 frame animations.
And a little surf music for Hoagie. We always had a place for surf music in our games. The Bone Wagon theme.
Yep.
That's right.
I think that surf music was yours.
That was mine. Yeah, I did that last little sequence there.
Yeah, you know the musically, this I believe was the last project that we all worked on. Certainly the last original title that we all worked on together, sort of equally as composers, where there was no lead composer, and we all pretty much.
Right. Panicked and freaked out together.
Cheap mail order jewels.
What happened to Hoagie and Laverne?
I knew I should have bought a real diamond.
Are they alive?
My dials say that the larger specimen landed 200 years in the past, and the other is stuck 200 years in the future.
Well, hurry up and bring them back.
I will, as soon as I get a new diamond. Then all your buddies have to do is plug in their respective chronogens and...
Plug them in? Where is Hoagie going to find an electrical outlet 200 years in the past?
Yes, well, he'll be needing my patented super battery then, won't he? Now, where did I put those patented super battery plans of mine?
Plans? How are we going to get Hoagie plans?
Don't worry me with details, boy. Just help me find the plans. They're in this house somewhere.
Now what am I going to do?
I think I made myself perfectly clear. Step 1, find plans. Step 2, save world. Step 3, get out of my house. Let's get cracking.
Okay, am I right, or is this is finally the game starting? Like the game, all of that was intro.
Right, all that was intro.
The game has now finally begun. And then as soon as you walk off screen, we freeze again for another cutscene. Ah, okay, now we're playing.
So the original cutscene was like 7 minutes before we
added that brief, tiny introduction to... We always were wrestling with that, I felt, in adventure games. Like, you want to tell the story and set it up for, the intro, but then you think of another, before the intro, we should do this other little intro, and then you'd end up with all these, like, intros to the intros to the intros, and they get super long.
I feel like that's just because we were inexperienced writers.
No, some people like that. Some people like that you set the whole stage and then they're interactive, and some people are just clicking and they want to get to it.
Yeah, but we never respected those people, to be honest, who just click to get through it. The reality is you guys had a story to tell, and that's the way to set it up and get people invested in it so that when they actually get into the interactive part, they feel invested.
Flash small inanimate objects to each other through time.
Hello? Dr. Fred, can you hear me? Drat.
Did you hear something?
No. Let's see if what's-his-name catches on.
Oh, great. I'm stuck in colonial times, tentacles are taking over the world, and now the toilet's backing up.
Okay, come over here. It's your old pal, Dr. Fred.
Dr. Fred, how'd you get in there?
I want you to pick up those plans you see in the chronogen, Hoagie. Bring them to Red Edison. He's my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. He'll know what to do.
You need the plans to make a super battery so you can plug in your chronogen.
Okay, if you say so, Bernard.
Good boy. Does he have any experience with electronics?
Well, I once saw him take 3,000 volts directly through his head without batting an eye.
Didn't he pass out?
Well, he was already passed out when it happened.
Time for me to save the world, I guess.
Ding, 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 ding. This is that we talked about a little bit when Dave and I played through. And originally, you could play all 3 characters right away. Remember that?
Is that true?
Yeah, you could play...
How did we...
I'm trying to remember how we did...
How we referred to it to score it, because we would have had to play the game.
I think what we did, yeah, I'm trying to remember...
How did we...
I'm trying to remember how we did...
How we referred to it to score it, because we would have had to play the game.
I think what we did, yeah, I'm trying to remember too.
Hold
I think
up a
what
video camera in front of the screen?
I think what we did was we got a save game made,
oh.
and we would play it to the next, like, place where you could pause, or like we would the next spacebar point or something like that, and then we would score it, and then we would make it so that the music, because the thing was that you couldn't rely on the sync, right?
Mm-mm.
So we had to actually make the music interactive in a sense with the scene, so that it could, depending on how fast of a machine you had and how quickly therefore the scene would play, would the music actually hit the right hit points and then proceed correctly to the next hit point.
So we would have an accordion like.
We basically had an accordion-like structure.
Each little section, it would sort of pause and then resume at the hit point, or jump to the hit point if the hit point was reached first.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think if we
would be only the fastest machines.
Right.
Ding, 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 ding. This is that we talked about a little bit when Dave and I played through. But originally, you could play all 3 characters right away. Remember that?
Is that true?
Yeah, you could play all the characters from the very beginning. And we had our first pizza orgy where we tested the game out, and people were like, "Oh, there's so many options," and they were overwhelmed. So now we unlocked it. So you have to play as Bernard for a little while, and then you do something that makes it so you can play Hoagie, and then Vern's the last.
And what about the other 3 kids?
They got cut.
There were 3 other kids?
They were 3 other kids. Do you remember who they were?
No, I don't remember anything about 3 other kids.
I have a piece of paper that has a picture of them.
Moonglow,
Chester,
and
Razor.
And Chester became...
Chester and Moonglow ring a bell.
Chester became Ned and Ted.
Wait, not Ned and Ted. Jed and...
Or whoever they were.
Jed and...
Ned and Jed.
Ned and Jed.
Okay.
Ned and Jed. And Moonglow just went away. Yeah. And Razor went away as well.
I stole the character design from Chester and said, I like that. I'll use that for these guys. And put them in a powdered wig.
Why do the work again? Really?
Exactly.
So now, CD games were just starting to be released on CD-ROM, and
the first.
For us, it was
the talkie. First talkie.
First talkie, right?
Was this before Rebel Assault?
Was it before or around the same
year?
Because we shipped
2 versions of this game. We shipped a floppy version and a CD-ROM version.
Followed up with our first talkie, right? Our first talkie.
The floppy version only had voice in the intro, and then it was all text.
And that was not the original plan to do voice at all.
No.
We were not going to do it, and while we were making the game...
Human voice was invented.
Human voice was invented, and more and more people started to have CD-ROM drives in their home computer, to the point where Kelly Flock just came in one day and said, what do you say we delay the game a little bit and we make a full voice talkie?
Yeah, let's all thank you to Myst.
Although, was this pre-Myst?
No, I think, Myst was what sold all those CD-ROMs and Rebel Assault.
Did some? Oh, well. How about an amendment that the president has to be a human being?
Please, this is serious business.
You're right.
Here I am, don't get your curls in an uproar. Excuse me, Mr. Washington. Boy, what a mess.
I told you guys.
So when you guys write those multi-branching scripts, I guess you call them.
Dialogue trees?
Is that what you call them? Dialogue trees?
Yeah.
Was it? Did you have to think in a certain mode, or how would you do it? And how would you notate it in Excel or something? Like, how would you map out the branches?
No, it was you would write it in code. We were programming the game at the same time.
You scum program the dialogue as you wrote.
Oh my God!
You would literally say, "Here are the choices. If you pick this one, jump down there. If you pick this one, jump down there."
I don't know how Dave wrote it, but I just kind of improv it. Like, you'd write. I wouldn't think or plan too much about it, but okay, you just talk to him, and then what would be 4 funny lines on the screen, and then kind of explore one, explore the other, and maybe have other nodes that you can go to, and then I would start planning. Okay, now I've got myself into a mess. How do I get out of here?
Yeah, it's kind of all about sets of lines. It was great because one of the things that you run up against as a writer usually in other media is I get to this point and I have to make a decision about how things go. But here we can just leave that up to the player, and all you have to do is get to a point and go, well, what are all the interesting things I might want to do here or say here? And then you just put them all in.
Mm-hmm. So it's pre-editing.
And I remember you would always design a dead end, like where the train comes to the end of the line. Basically, it's like you say something and then he just keeps giving you the same answer, like, I wouldn't know about that. And then you try something else, I wouldn't know about that. It's like, okay, I guess I've exhausted this. It's sort of like almost like a stopgap or a safety net in a way, maybe.
They always try and let the player know when they've exhausted the character. They're like, look, okay, you found it. You found all of the entertainment we put in this character. It's done.
Because people will explore as deep as you give them. They would say it becomes a responsibility. Oh, I've got to see if there's something down there that I'm missing. So I have to. So you don't want to do.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to attention you have to wrestle with is like. You want to put a lot of, well, the player might go here, they might go here, they might choose this, let's put interesting stuff in all those places. But then if you approach it in the wrong way, sometimes the player gets there and they're like, oh God, I've got to go through all of this stuff. And they feel like they need to find every nook and cranny of the dialogue. And you just put it in there so they'd have a variety of things to choose from, but they feel like it's a task list and they have to find it all. Mm-hmm. And so you...
or something's buried there that they missed.
Yeah.
Who's that? This is Ben's room, huh? He's
big into penguins. What is that date that's circled?
Yeah, I was just going to ask.
Is that your birthday? Your son's birthday?
That says January, right?
It says Zach really small.
That's my wife's birthday.
Ah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sneaky.
First or second?
I don't understand that technical stuff.
Because the car says Zach on the license plate.
Yeah, because Zach was born that year. So I snuck his name in and turned into a ritual. I now try to hide my kids' names in every project I work on.
They're in the bone pile in Grim Fandango, but I never could find it.
Yeah.
I just knew you told me they're in there.
And it's also in Full Throttle, too.
Interesting.
But you can't see it. So it's for me, basically.
Well, I remember we would deliver a piece of music, and of course it's comprised mostly of MIDI note events, which is just a tiny little piece of data within the MIDI stream. Note on, and it happens at this velocity on this channel to this instrument and whatever. And I would deliver a piece of music, and the programmer would turn to me and say, Clint, this is over 32K.
Yeah, it's huge.
32 kilobytes. 32 kilobytes. You got to cut this thing down.
Who do you think you are, Mozart?
Yeah. He said we can't take anything bigger for this scene than 24 kilobytes. So I'd go back and thin the percussion. I'd sometimes have to cut a whole section of the music out to get it down to 20.
Well, sometimes there was pushback though too, because we'd say, all right, look. 10%, we get 10%. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember the pushback.
I don't remember these technical discussions about the size of the music files.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, and I remember specifically 32K was often too big.
That's why the iMuse system got called the iMuse system, because it was originally called the sound drivers, and then everybody got all upset because drivers can't occupy a whole floppy disk or whatever it was that the system occupied.
Question is, which one's stuffed and which one's the real McCoy?
I assure you that we are both real, but we are neither one of us McCoys. We are Edisons, Ned and Jed.
Who's who?
Does it really matter? Even our dear father can't tell us apart. He only knows that one of us is left-handed while the other is right, but that neither of us are following in his tiny scientific footsteps. Hold still, Jed. So, I'm almost too frightened to ask, are you the marble delivery man? Or the model?
I'm the model. Should I take my clothes off now?
No. No, you most definitely should not. We couldn't get your body shape right anyway, unless we cemented 2 slabs of marble together. But then your statue would have a big seam in it.
That's okay. It would have one anyway.
Look, don't call us. We'll call you.
Dang. Sorry, hope I haven't jostled you.
Too late.
So as soon as Hoagie gets that battery working, we're set.
I'm afraid not. We still need a diamond for the main unit. And your friend in the future needs power too, if she's still alive.
Alive?
Get me out of here! I like trees and everything, but this one has got to go.
It's useless.
That was really disturbing when he shot himself, and then the stick goes right through his brain, which would be fatal. Very disturbing.
It's true. They would never...
But then he's got a depressed sigh afterwards. So, you know, he's fine, even though he's still suicidal.
You notice the nice pink box, you know, the Chinese pink box for that you get in Chinatown.
Is that for
That's
like
right
almond
there.
cookies? He's got like a little section of... How sad can he be?
I just thought that was donuts.
Well, it's true about that theme, the suicide theme, or cigarettes for another matter. I think we used to have characters sometimes lighten up and stuff.
There was no ASRB when we made this.
Yeah.
Philosophy. Okay, here's my philosophy. Life is completely pointless, especially mine.
Okay, maybe I can't cheer you up.
Don't worry about it. I'd only get depressed again.
Never mind.
Green! Bernard!
What are you doing up here?
Well, I couldn't stop Purple, and he's gonna go out and conquer the world, and I'm afraid of what he'll do if he catches me, if Dr. Fred doesn't find me first. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Hey!
What's up, Bernard?
See you later.
Yeah! Good luck in saving the world, B-Man!
It looks too heavy for me to pick up. Wow, this is loud. Whew. Uh-oh, this looks like it might work.
I remember when I was trying to figure out and come up with the style, you know, it was back in those days, we didn't really have Google internet search stuff. So, you know, all we had were 2 books that I studied from, and that was a Bugs Bunny book, compilation kind of thing, and Chuck-a-Muck, which was Chuck Jones's bio book. And I remember to do research, we had to use VHS tapes. And we watched all those classic Saturday morning cartoon stuff, and we would pause and look at, or for me, I was studying, looking at those old cartoons, and except when you pause on a VHS, you always get the line.
Tracking.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
But that was how I was studying and trying to come up with, you know, shapes and just study layout. And then, yeah, it worked out.
Hey, want to see a neat trick?
Sure.
Neat, huh?
My Pony Express stamps. You ruined my Pony Express stamps. Not to mention 5 years of therapy. Get out of my room.
Jeez, what a grump. He should really try to find some outlet for those negative feelings.
Get out of here.
I remember when I was trying to figure out and come up with the style, you know, it was back in those days, we didn't really have Google internet search stuff.
You fixed it. I guess I can forgive you now.
Sometimes I do stupid stuff and I don't even know why, as if my body were being controlled by some demented, sadistic puppet master.
Well, we all feel that way sometimes.
I've got one just like this packed away in the garage. Jeepers! Excuse me?
What is it? I'm rather... Say, aren't you Bernard Bernoulli?
You must have me confused with some other Bernard Bernoulli.
No, you're the one. You broke into our mansion a few years ago to save your little friend. What did you come for this time?
It's a secret. I can't tell you.
A secret, eh? How exciting! Well, I won't rat you out, hot stuff.
I'll let you get back to what you were doing.
Come back any time, you big hunk.
Oh no! I've lost it! Oh, where hath gone the muse that once guided my hand with such care? Must inspiration be so transitory? Must art be so cruel? I'm a failure. Don't say that, Ned. Father was right. We Edisons are made to be scientists, not artists. Dear brother, we must be strong in these times of creative adversity. Why don't you let me take over for a while? I'll clean this rubble up and start over. You relax. Have a cappuccino. I'm glad we switched places. I think you're coming out quite well.
Well, you know what they say. If you want to save the world, you gotta push a few old ladies down the stairs.
Where am I gonna put it? Where am I gonna put it?
Sounds like the cat's caught a moose up there.
I don't wanna. I don't wanna.
Get me down from here!
How did we...
I'm trying to remember how we did. But
how we referred...
Okay, I flushed it.
I'm just a failure.
Hey, there's a letter here for you.
For me? Probably another rejection slip. Oh well. You're brilliant. What a novel design. Come to Baltimore at once.
I'm sorry to do this to you, little fella, but it's for the future of the whole planet. Here, perhaps these are your keys.
Where? Gimme. Hey, thanks, pal. Keep the crowbar.
Thank you, Masked Man.
Maybe this one. What sort of person would carry around this many keys?
Hey, boy, you missed the party.
You and the clown were having a party?
No, last night. At the Novelty Goods Salesmen's Convention. I tell you, we novelty goods salesmen know how to have a good time.
Gotta run.
Ciao, kid.
Look, gravity has reversed itself over there.
Huh? I don't see anything.
Oh, never mind. Hi there.
What can I do for you, kid?
Nice cigars.
I roll them myself. Oh, want a cigar?
Sure, lay one of those Havanan babies on me.
I don't get it. Get lost, kid.
Slippery little devil.
So Peter, one of the characteristics of this art is the exaggeration and the curved lines, like the door is curved.
Totally.
And when things are really exaggerated and cartoony, and they're curved as opposed to normally you would see them straight lines and things. Where did you get that? Do you remember how you developed that? Because that's one of the signatures, I think, of...
Yeah, I mean, that's just part of the visual language that I was trying to use, you know, and you're right, that was the goal, was to balance the two. And also, you know, I was trying to simplify, and the inspiration came from Chuck Jones's layout artist, Maurice Noble. So Maurice Noble, you know, if you watched his classic cartoons, designs on, you know, Duck Dodgers and What's Opera Doc, you know, you can kind of see that he totally exaggerated and made those beautiful graphic shapes. So that's what I was trying to do, is incorporate some of that into this game.
It makes the environments seem bigger maybe than they would otherwise. They kind of stretch like
there's kind of a
it stretches up, a fisheye effect almost up towards the ceiling, and it just seems more expansive, draws you in.
Oh, good.
Thanks. I needed a little pick-me-up. Must open safe. Must sign contract. Must provide for family.
And look at this amazing fisheye lens effect you guys did. How did you achieve? You must have used some sort of high-end warping software. And I remember that monitor used to say phony on it. I think when Peter drew it, it said F-O-N-Y. Yes. But we had to take that out. I guess.
Got VHS tape.
Legal reasons, which means you'll have to edit the comments out of this too?
We're not going to use any of this one.
Dr. Fred Edison, Internal Revenue. Come with us. We'd like to go over some of your records with you. Upstairs. Dr. Fred Edison, Internal Revenue. Come with us.
Ew, it's soaking wet.
So there was I did actual math for how much money should be in that pile of quarters to make this thing run.
That's Dave. He would actually calculate how many
1968.
to run for how many years? For 200 years?
$800,000 or something. Yeah, 200 years to the minute.
And I'm glad you did that, because someone else on the internet would have done it and said we used the wrong number if we didn't do that.
7. Let's see, it's 101-999-57. I'd rather not.
Thought I heard something. Everything okay in there? Well, try and keep it down, okay?
I had worked on Monkey 2, and I had learned to animate on that project. It's like, you're an artist, we need an animator. I had never animated.
You didn't know how to animate?
No, I just... They gave us the Muybridge frame-by-frame book. The first thing I worked on was the dog with the keys in his mouth.
That's crazy. I remember you coming on as an animator. We should have checked out references.
No, that was the deal. The awesome artists like Peter and Steve were the ones that got to paint the backgrounds. And you know, the second tier people like me, you're animators. It didn't matter if you'd ever animated.
Oof! Dr. Fred, are you okay? Dr. Fred? I'd better get him to the lab. Well, I got him in here, but he's out cold.
The water's all sudsy now. Dum-de-dum. Looks like a big storm. See, this is why I never wash my car. Hey, Ben.
What do you want?
Where are you going? What about your experiment?
Even science sometimes gets cold on account of rain, my boy.
But how are you ever going to get lightning if you're not going to stand out in a storm?
To be frank, which I am, I don't know. The science of electrodynamics, much like your mind apparently, is still in a state of relative infancy. Back to the drawing board, I say.
What a genius.
So, Dave, are you going to take credit for the wash your car to make it rain puzzle?
I always feel like I need to both apologize for and defend this puzzle in this game because, I mean, there is a lesson here about how to design puzzles because you always want to make sure that the audience has all of the information that they need in order to make the leap that's going to get them the puzzle solution. And in this case, like I grew up with a father who told me that it was just common knowledge that when you washed your car, it made it rain. So I just assumed that everybody around the globe would understand that and that we didn't really have to say much about it.
We all found that to be acceptable. I think we are like, yep,
a lot of people
that'd be a good puzzle.
A lot of people have come back and complained about that over the years.
Well, but when you do try to wash the Cadillac,
right? There's a great hint. There's another car in there.
What does he say?
It says "wash me" right on there, and when you try to wash it, he says something like, "I don't want to do that because every time I wash my car, it makes it rain."
That I think my judgment is that is absolutely fair.
The hint is in there.
It's right there. It's a big old sign.